Areva Martin attorney. Is Shaky Mom crazy, or is she a cold-blooded killer?
I have a problem, Jane, with the prosecution's case saying that this was an intentional act on the part of this mom. I haven't heard anything about a motive. I know there's some issue about whether these kids were obedient or disobedient, and that may have caused her some concerns. But when I look at this mother, I see a woman who is suffering from some kind of severe, mental health issues that needs to be addressed, and I'm sure we're going to hear a lot about as her attorneys get her evaluated, and the prosecution itself, I'm sure, will be seeking some kind of psychiatric evaluation. I think the insanity defense is right on spot in this case.
Eric Schwartz right. She bought a gun 5 days earlier. Give me a break here.
Insanity, no. Florida uses what we call the McNaughton rule. It's whether or not she appreciates the consequences of her actions. The problem for her is that jurors, they really dislike the sanity defense about as much as they dislike Cheese Whiz on cornflakes. It doesn't taste good, and it's a very, very tough sell. Now, this is certainly crazy town. I mean, she murdered her children. But, the action, she purchased a gun, some of her actions before, and she's claiming also there's some voluntary intoxication underlying here, which is not a legal defense in Florida. The fact that she consumed alcohol, got drunk, got intoxicated, that dog's not going to hunt in Florida. What's going to matter is whether or not they can prove whether or not she appreciated the consequences of her actions. And certainly it is crazy murdering your children, but it is a very, very tough sell to convince a jury that you are sane and that you should go away to a hospital for the rest of your life, because you did not criminally understand the consequences. It's very difficult for lawyers to sell that.
We're going to talk about the drug issue in a second, but let's go. Dr. Gabe, you wanted to jump in.
Yeah, I wanted to jump in real quick. I sort of disagree with what I heard, I think, Areva Martin say. It really is, this insanity plea, no. Side effects of neuroleptic drugs is what she's on. Akathisia, tardive dyskinesia, none of those will cause you to want to kill someone. And like you said, she actually purchased the gun before, premeditated. And then if you're on a cocktail, you...
Go ahead.
If you're on a cocktail, you don't drink. You don't drink.
Well, you're not supposed to, but she did. For you to say, with all due respect, Dr. Gabe, well, you're taking all these drugs, and we're going to get into the long list of drugs she was taking, including hillbilly heroin, but, oh, well, you don't drink. Yes, she did, and that is the problem. Addie Jaffe, Executive Director, Addiction Treatment. You're not supposed to booze it up while you're taking seriously.
And
James, we haven't seen everything that's going to happen in this case. It is way too soon to say this woman did not suffer from some kind of mental illness that caused this, horrific crime to occur.
But here's the problem.
You're not supposed to drink. But let's just...
One at a time, and I want to go to Addie Jaffe. You're the addiction specialist. Quick.
Sure, and I literally just dealt with a client just 2 weeks ago who, on a similar combination of opiates, anti-anxiety medication, antidepressants, and drinking, had essentially a psychotic break for over a week and a half. The only reason he got put on the opiates was because he had just gone through surgery. But I can tell you, after having a conversation with him, he was not in his right mind and had no idea what was going on with him. So much so the family members had to go to his house to even bring him into an office. So I want to be really
I want to say this, and Elizabeth Espinoza, if you get wasted, that doesn't mean you are legally insane. It means you're a drug addict and an alcoholic who chose to get wasted.
But I'm not talking about wasted.
You
That's
are
not what I'm
spot on,
talking
but
about,
I think you have to.
Yeah,
but I think you have to wait,
hearing.
Doctor. I hear what you're saying, but I think that it's very clear from court documents when you look into the case. And by the way, this is going to be an explosive trial, and you know why? Because you're going to have a lot of moms on there that are going to have to decide: was this woman just completely out of her mind? Listen, bipolar disorder is a real thing. I mean, when you start hallucinating, and the fact that she would tell detectives the reason why she killed her 2 children at close range was because they were mouthing off at her. That's not normal, whether you're wasted or not. We're talking about that adding to her, unhealthiness, but clearly mental illness is very serious. We have seen so many of these scenarios not so long ago with Ebony driving her children into the ocean.